The Rochester True Value, located inside the Shop and Save on the Ohio River Boulevard, is proudly serving the community. The Rochester True Value is independently owned and operated and has experienced workers who can help you with your home projects. The Rochester True Value has tools, products, and all the equipment needed for you to get the job done. The Rochester True Value inside the Shop and Save is open and ready to help with your home improvements. That's the Rochester True Value in Shop and Save on the Ohio River Boulevard.
You're listening to 99.3 FM, presented by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls. Welcome to the Best of Beaver County, presented by St. Barnabas, a weekly segment dedicated to putting the focus on the amazing things and the amazing people behind them in Beaver County. The Best of Beaver County is sponsored by and content is provided by St. Barnabas. The show airs every Thursday from 11 to 11:30 on WBVP, WMBA, 99.3 FM, and Facebook Live. Now, with no further ado, let's welcome host Mike Romai to introduce today's program.
You take a deep breath. If you're a coffee lover, you will know the aroma. You look forward before your feet hit the floor in the morning. That gets your taste buds going. That's what we're going to talk about this morning. I'm Mike Romai. It's the Best of Beaver County on the St. Barnabas Radio Network. Our guest is Kathy CHABALA, and Kathy is the owner of Hallowed Grounds in New Brighton. There's not a day that I don't go on 3rd Avenue in New Brighton, whether I'm coming north or south, that I don't see somebody pulling into a parking space and running into Hallowed Grounds. Kathy, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me on, Mike. I appreciate it. Well,
you've been there a while, and everybody knows it, coming and going from there. But if you're a coffee lover, that's definitely a stop on your daily activities or on your daily commute. When you, well, let's get to the name first, Hallowed Grounds. Okay, so we know what grounds mean, ground coffee. And Hallowed Grounds, where did the name come from?
So Hallowed Grounds, the name came from actually the Bible. Exodus chapter 3, verse 5, where the Lord says to Moses, take off your shoes because the ground you're standing on is hallowed ground. And then it was also very fitting that we ended up locating our business in New Brighton because many people consider that area right by the store there to be hallowed ground because of the important role that New Brighton played in the Underground Railroad.
Yes.
So it ended up to be very fitting that we chose to name our business Hallowed Grounds, and then we ended up locating it in New Brighton in an area which is considered hallowed ground.
Very nice. And across the street, you've got those stately churches that have been there for, seems like 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all in there. So we don't know if Moses drank decaf or whether...
Not sure what he was actually drinking back then. Yeah.
Whatever, he was pulling off of the bush there and grinding it up and making coffee out of it. How did you get involved in the coffee business?
So my husband and I always loved coffee. And we used to drive up to the Strip District in Pittsburgh to buy our coffee. And so Presto George
yes.
and Nicholas Coffee were kind of our inspiration. Nicholas is in Market Square. And my husband used to go in there, and I mean, I had to drag him out of the store. We'd be in there for a half an hour, and he would just be fascinated by the process of the coffee roasting. And he would talk to the older gentleman that was in there who's since passed away. But he was kind of the one that got us interested in and drinking specialty coffee.
Okay.
And then my husband was going to start doing this as a home hobby. So he was going to buy this little $500 stovetop coffee roaster, and he was going to just start roasting coffee at home just for a hobby. Well, he ends up buying a $10,000 commercial coffee roaster and putting it on our enclosed sun porch at our house. And he said, well, some guys have a Harley. I have my coffee roaster.
Yeah.
And he goes, but the coffee roaster is going to make us money someday. Well, I'm not sure really about the money part yet, but it did kind of work out because we started taking those little bags, those 2-ounce sample bags. They make you 1 pot of coffee. We started taking those and giving them to everybody we knew. We gave them to people at church. We gave them to our neighbors, our friends, our family. We went to the doctor's office, to the bank. We took them everywhere we went. And pretty soon, we had over 100 customers that we were delivering coffee to from our house, and our business was literally taking over the house. Wow. So I said to my husband one day, I said, well, you're either going to have to build me a bigger house or we're going to have to go into a storefront. And so that's when we started looking for like
Eddie.
a retail location.
That smells wonderful. I can imagine when you put that coffee machine, the roaster in your veranda, in your outdoor patio, that you didn't attract all the neighbors coming over. So where's that coffee coming from?
Well, yeah, we pretty much did. Yeah. So that's how the business grew, and then it was, it made sense to move into the storefront, and like we talked about, we ended up choosing New Brighton and opening there. And I mean, ever since then, like the people of New Brighton, the people of Beaver County, the borough, the business district, all of the people have really been good to us, and they've really embraced us, and it's become a family. It's a family business, and the people that come in, and even the staff, that we're all just like one big happy Hallowed Grounds family.
Yeah, it's a nice atmosphere in the store.
It is.
You walk in and you talk about Presto George. I'll be honest with you, I never developed a taste for coffee, but my mother, when I was a child, she would percolate her coffee. They put it in a percolator and it'd be upstairs in bed, and the first thing you smelled was and it always smelled so good to me.
Oh yeah, that Electroperk really makes a really strong smelling coffee.
Yeah. And so I love the smell of it. And Presto George, I go there when I'm in the Strip District because my wife loves to go in that place. And just like Hallowed Grounds, you walk in the front door and it just hits you.
Oh, yeah. The first thing, that's what everybody always says as soon as they come in the door. Even people that don't like coffee, like you said, as soon as they come in, they're like, oh, that smells so good. And they want to know, what it is they're smelling, but it's really just the combination of all of the things together. The teas, too. People forget that, we're kind of known for our coffee, but we also have the best selection of teas in the Valley, and it's the loose leaf teas that also add to the aroma. So it's kind of everything blended together that sort of creates that wonderful aroma when you walk in the door that kind of hits you.
So it's really not going to matter what kind of perfume you're wearing on a particular day. You're going to smell like coffee by the end of the day.
Exactly. I always smell like coffee everywhere I go. Sometimes even when I'm sitting in a restaurant, there was one time there was a little kid that was sitting at the next table, and he's like, Mommy, I smell coffee. I'm like, yes, me, I'm guilty. But there are a lot worse things that you could smell like,
Absolutely.
so I really don't mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This on this bag, this particular bag, it's 2 ounces of Nicaragua.
Nicaragua, yes.
How many different brands of coffee beans do you sell?
So we import coffee from all over the world, and we get coffee from each of the different coffee regions of the world. And all of the regions, just like wine, the soil that they're grown in creates a different flavor profile. So Nicaragua is one of my personal favorites. So typically the Latin American coffees tend to be kind of nutty, buttery, almost chocolatey.
Okay.
And then the African coffees tend to be sort of fruity, winey, florally. And then the Indonesian coffees are kind of what I call the dirty tasting coffee. So those two are the clean tasting coffees. The Indonesians, but people like them. There's a market for that. They like that earthy, woody. It's almost a tobacco-y type of a taste, but very rich tasting. So each region kind of produces a different flavor profile. So we have something for everyone.
Tell me about this Juan Valdez guy.
It's funny because my husband in his younger days, people used to tell him he looked like Juan Valdez. Yeah.
He used to sell coffee on the TV all the time.
He was known for the Colombian coffee.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
So in Colombian coffees,
Colombian coffee is a staple. Yeah. Yes, it is. Absolutely.
So when people come for the first time or regular customers, do they say, well, I want to try this because I never had this before? Is that what they do?
Yeah. Some people come in and they know immediately what they're looking for. And, they say that they want, like, our Americana, our signature blend. It's our #1 seller. And some people come in and they just get that. Other people want to know, what's new? What's new? What do you have that's new? And it does change from year to year because, obviously, coffee's an agricultural product. So that can depend on the crops. And then there's politics in coffee. There's things that happen in certain countries. And oftentimes we have a hard time getting, it comes from the third world, most of it. And so sometimes there's a lot of things going on there where we can't get the coffee. So we used to get Rwanda coffee. We haven't been able to get that for a number of years. We're getting the Uganda coffee back in this year, so we're really excited about that.
I was going to say, who do you go on to sell their coffee to if they're not selling it to the United States?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, sometimes they're selling other products.
Yeah. So you have to buy off the warlords over in those
That's
places.
exactly right. And that's what happens. Warlords come in, they take over the farms, they plant their crops that might not be legal crops, but produce more money than coffee does. Same thing with the tea farms. Yeah, so we're getting it mostly from the third world. So there are challenges involved, real challenges with supply chain issues. Yeah,
that's why we're trying to legalize some of those crops in the United States, so that they can go back to growing coffee over in those parts of the world.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's so fascinating. Now, do you and your husband, are you the ones who play the intermediaries with these countries and these buyers, or do you have somebody that comes to you and says, you got to try this, or this is really
we work with importers.
Okay.
And we have a couple reliable ones that we work with. And also, we're always concerned about the people of coffee that are in the growing regions, that are actually growing the coffee. So we try to work with importers that we know are using ethical standards and trying to do our best to make sure that the people that are growing the coffee are getting paid a fair wage, and that sometimes we have people going in there that are missionaries, and they're helping them get clean water. They're building schools for the children and things like that. So we do try to be concerned about where the coffee is sourced from and how it's sourced, so that we're building up the coffee growing community, as well as bringing it to our community here in Beaver County.
A win for everybody.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
that's what we look for.
You don't want PETA on your back anyway, because I just saw recently that they were going after a country that had monkeys climbing trees long hours in the day and throwing down coconuts and things like that. You're thinking, really? Then we're worrying about this kind of stuff?
Well, it's interesting because our importers always tell us, it's open for us to go on any of the trips with them when they go to source the coffee, but they come back and they tell us some kind of scary stories.
Yeah.
So if I go on a trip to a coffee growing country, I'm probably like picking Jamaica or maybe Hawaii. Costa Rica, I think, might be a nice place to visit.
It would be very nice.
But you got to be careful.
Yeah.
So some
it's a world
scary
economy,
stuff can happen.
And they don't have the same laws that we do.
Right.
So 17 years ago, you got into the business, right? 17 years. There wasn't as much competition 17 years ago.
Right.
Now it seems like there's a lot of competition out there, where people like these sweet drinks and the bigger companies, charge an arm and a leg, and ice drinks and those sort of things. How do you compete?
So you have to adapt, and I feel like at least in Beaver County, we each kind of have our own separate market,
niche,
or a separate niche. Yeah, that's a good word for it. So like you have Cafe Kalachi in Beaver. You got Starbucks right down the street from them.
Right.
Well, we talked about going into Beaver, but we knew Starbucks was coming in at the time. So we chose to go into New Brighton. But we're, I think what sets us apart is that we do the roasting, and we do the roasting right on the premises. So 50% of our business is bagged coffee, coffee beans or ground coffee.
Yeah.
25% of our business is drinks. But when you go into a Starbucks, that's basically like a sit and sip or a liquid coffee shop. We are more of a roaster retailer.
Okay.
So we roast the coffee, we import it, we roast it, we sell it, and we sell mostly bagged coffee, and then drinks are second, and then everything else we do is third. So the last 25% is a combination of like gifts, gift baskets, goodies. We have fresh ground peanut butters. We have Bavarian cinnamon glazed nuts.
Oh.
We have home baked goods. Now, we don't bake them, but we use Sweets and Treats by Rachel out of Hopewell.
Okay.
We also try to work with other local businesses as much as we can for the products that we don't make in-house.
So would you consider yourself a specialty shop?
Yes, definitely a specialty shop.
Okay.
Yes.
And you have a lot of repeat customers?
We do,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so I've seen people, like I mentioned earlier, they're pulling into a parking place or running into hallowed grounds. They can come out with a cup of coffee.
Yes.
Right? Because I've
Yes,
seen
they
them come
can.
out with a cup of coffee before.
Yep.
So they can get a cup, but
Right.
they want to buy it what do they buy it? By the pound, by the ounce, by the...
Well, so we sell it in 2-ounce increments. We say every 2 ounces makes you a pot of coffee, and it costs about $1 an ounce.
Okay.
So you can get a 2-ounce bag, a 4-ounce bag, 6-ounce, 8-ounce, 12-ounce, 16-ounce. And then we have deals. So if you buy 2 pounds, you get $1 off. If you buy 3 pounds, you get $2 off. And if you buy 4 pounds, you get a 5th one free. And that's our best deal. And we do that also on the teas, but the teas we sell by the ounce.
Yeah, interesting.
So-
And you said gift giving too, because I've been in your store before, and
Yep.
I've bought coffees as gifts, coffees and teas for people that I know enjoy these sort of things. And you're so knowledgeable about it. When you come in, you say, well, what do they like? What kind do they like? If they, liked a commercial brand, what would that be? And then you could find something that. The taste, the aroma would be at least on the same level or better
Yes.
than what you can get.
Yes. In fact, somebody came in yesterday who usually drank Black Rifle coffee.
Black
and
Rifle
so
coffee?
I looked up online what particular coffee in Black Rifle. They couldn't remember the name. They only knew there was a pirate on the bag. So I went online. It's great to have the computer right there.
Yeah.
And I went online and looked up, and then I read the flavor profile. And by reading the flavor profile, I was able to figure out at least the regions where those coffees were coming from.
Okay.
And they liked a dark roast. So, you ask the customer questions, and we train the staff to do this as well. You ask the customer questions, what kind of coffee do you usually drink? Do you like flavored coffee? What kind of a roast do you like? Do you like a dark roast or a medium roast? So once you go through that, questioning of them, it kind of starts to narrow the choices, because it can be overwhelming. Like when you come in, you see all those bins
Right.
of coffee, and you're like, wow. And especially, maybe if you're not a coffee drinker and you're buying a gift for someone,
Don't have a clue.
it's hard to
Yeah.
figure it out. So we do our best, and we also try to make people feel as comfortable as possible, because you don't have to speak a certain coffee language when you come into hallowed grounds.
Yeah.
Some people, when you go other places, you have to speak this certain language. Well, no, we're not judgmental. We'll just we're there to just
Yeah.
help you figure out what you're looking for and do our best to hook you up with that product,
Yeah,
whether it's a drink or a bag, because we always say by the cup or by the pound.
Yeah.
Hallowed Grounds coffee is the best around.
Ah, nice slogan. And there are people that just drink black coffee.
Yes.
People like a kick from their coffee, just like it seems though tea drinkers want something that's soothing and relaxing.
Yes.
For them. So you have to meet those needs as well.
Exactly, and it's funny because the coffee and the tea customer are completely different customers.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the tea side on one side and the coffee side on the other. And the coffee customers will come in, they'll rush in, they'll grab their cup of coffee, they'll throw the money on the counter, and they're gone out the door on their way. And then the tea customers come in and they're moseying around, and they're smelling all the different teas, and they're asking all kind of questions, and you kind of have to check in with them, but just give them their space and let them look, and it takes them a while to make a decision. So it's kind of like almost like your type A and your type B personalities. The type A is the coffee drinker, and the type B is the tea drinker.
I'm in a hurry. Get it to me
Yeah.
fast. Kathy CHABALA is our guest from Hallowed Grounds in New Brighton. We'll continue talking about this, the challenges they faced, and a whole lot more. I'm going to just sit here and sniff this while you listen to this commercial on the Best of Beaver County on St. Barnabas Radio Network.
I'm Patty.
And I'm Bob. We're retired, and we live at St. Barnabas in the Village.
We used to have a house,
Lived in it for 40 years.
raised our kids.
But it became too much. The upkeep, the stairs.
Moving seemed like such a hassle. We didn't even know where to start, so we didn't.
Until we met Cindy at St. Barnabas.
She talked us through our options.
Yeah. And she helped us with our move and all the arrangements.
There was so much stuff. Who knew we had 3 fondue pots?
But she made it easy.
So easy.
Now we enjoy ourselves.
Golf, the pool, new friends, shuttles to where we want to go.
The pub and the food.
So good.
There wasn't a long-term commitment or any large fees.
And they have a healthcare system on campus with doctors if we need it. The kids really like that.
The kids like to come and eat with us.
There's an easier, worry-free way to retire at the Village at St. Barnabas. Come visit us for a free and informative counseling session and personal tour.
I can't believe you waited so long.
I can't believe you waited so long.
Visit stbarnabashealthsystem.com or call 724-443-0700. Best of Beaver County on the St. Barnabas Radio Network. Our guest is Kathy CHABALA from Hallowed Grounds in New Brighton, and you've probably heard of them before. Hopefully you've been a customer of theirs. If not, you're going to have to stop in and check them out. This is a 2-ounce bag of Nicaraguan coffee. I'd pour it out in my hand a little bit, but I don't want to make it impure for the person who's going to drink it here, because I'm sure one of my coworkers is going to make a pot after we're finished here. We talk about competition. We talk about challenges, Kathy. And one of the challenges, they come up with these coffee makers for the homes, and they're little cups of things, and you put it in and smash it down, and the coffee comes out the bottom. How do you compete with that kind of stuff?
K-cup.
The convenience of it.
Yeah, so it is very convenient. Doesn't necessarily brew the best cup of coffee, but some people like that just for convenience.
Just looks like brown water when it comes out.
But we do have we have like a filter and a little plastic cup that you can kind of make your own K-cup. So we do have a product to help deal with the customer who's looking for that.
Okay.
Now, some people prefer those pods, but they're also very expensive. You end up paying like over $35 a pound for your coffee, even when you get those pods like at Costco for 50 cents a pod.
Really?
So if you use our system, you can put better coffee in there, make your own pod, and also, it's really bad for the environment throwing all that waste.
All that plastic.
Yeah. So we try to sell the alternative where you kind of make your own K-cup and you just throw the browns away when you're done.
So I come in and look at your coffee beans, and you have different bins with them all in, and I say, oh, well, give me some of this, and you'll grind it right there for me?
We can grind it, yes.
Okay.
We can grind it any way you want. So different brewing devices use a different grind. So for instance, if you're making cold brewed coffee, or if you're brewing your coffee in a French press, you're going to use a coarse ground coffee because you're steeping that coffee almost like tea. So you need the coffee to be in bigger chunks. Otherwise you end up with the grounds in your coffee. And then if you're brewing espresso, you're brewing it very fine, because espresso is finely ground coffee brewed quickly under pressure to extract the flavor from it. So you do a completely different grind. And then for auto drip, you're right in the middle. Same thing with the K-cups, you're right in the middle. Electroperk, a little bit coarser.
This is fantastic, Kathy, because you're explaining the whole process here. The difference, a small business, a locally owned business. You go to the barista at one of these major corporation places, and you tell them, what's that made? Where's that? They don't have a clue. You are like a consultant. For coffee.
A coffee consultant.
Yeah,
I
right.
like that. I like that.
Yeah, so you're dealing with a variety of customers, men, women, and coffee or tea drinkers, but you know your product.
Yes.
You're not going to get that someplace else.
Right, and we educate our employees on the products too. Yep. And of course, we all drink them every day while we're working, and so we're always drinking them and trying the new things as they come in. And we always say that's one of the perks of the job.
Yeah,
is you get to drink
so.
coffee and tea all day.
Keep you wired all day long. No taking an afternoon nap in a coffee shop, right? What are some of the other challenges that you're facing?
So we've obviously had economic challenges that we've survived. I mean, we survived the housing market crash. We've survived inflation, all the supply chain issues. COVID kind of completely changed the way we did business. Now, we actually had a very good year during COVID. And I always say that the Lord continues to bless in spite of whatever is going on around you, or there's always blessings amidst the curses. So in COVID, we were able to stay open the whole time under the governor's guidelines, but we had to change the way we did business.
Well, you were an essential business.
Yes.
People can't do without their coffee.
I remember people walked in the first day after the order, and they're like, I'm so glad you're open because I need a cup of coffee.
Come in with a coffee filter over their face.
And it became almost like a date night for some of our customers, too. They'd be like, it was one of the only places you were allowed to go during COVID, so they would come in and they would look around. Of course, they couldn't sit, so we didn't have the tables in there, and we did a lot of the curbside, and we really did a lot of shipping. Okay. So it completely opened up our online business. Yeah. It doubled it, and that has stayed. So it's interesting because even people that are right here in Beaver County will ship right to New Brighton or Beaver Falls. I mean, people could easily come in, but sometimes they're busy, and I think they found that they liked the convenience of the shipping.
Yeah.
So if you spend $40, you get free shipping.
Nice.
So,
so you've actually opened your market up. What may have been a walk-in store just for Beaver Countyans, now you can sell Hallowed Grounds coffee any place in the world.
Yes. Well, at least the
United States. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah, we pretty much ship anywhere in the United States.
Okay.
Yeah, but most of our customers, even our shipping customers, have some sort of connection to the valley. So you put your website up and you start offering coffee online, and you think it's like that movie where if you open, they will come. Okay, well that's true in the store, but with the online business, it's hard to get found in the search engines. So most of our online customers do have a local connection. Like they used to live in Beaver County. Their family has brought them our coffee as a gift. Or when they're home, like we become one of the tourist attractions now.
Yeah.
So people bring their family members to our business when they're home and introduce them to our coffee and tea, and then we end up shipping it to them.
It's just too bad you can't do a scratch and sniff website where you can sprinkle some of this and people can smell exactly what you got going on.
Maybe someday we'll be able to do that.
But you've gone through so many changes in 17 years. Your husband and yourself, you were telling me you were from Penn Hills. He's from West Aliquippa originally.
Yes.
And you both reside, you reside in Chippewa now. And kind of at the age where you're looking at maybe doing a little retirement, maybe some travel, and passing the company on.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So my husband had been the roaster in the very beginning, and he still worked at his day job. So we decided, since I had been stay at home, I was a homeschool mom and previously worked in retail banking and in retail, but that I would do the day-to-day running of the store, because I hadn't been making an income for a time, so I didn't need an income. So I literally worked for coffee and biscotti for the first 5 years. And my husband would come home after working 10 hours at his regular job painting cars, and he would roast all the coffee. Yeah, so that's kind of how we got started. So he had a real job and made real money with benefits, and I played store all day.
Sure,
that's kind of what we decided
to do.
There
are worse jobs out there.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
And then enter Drew, okay? So Drew was our biological son, now living as our transgender daughter, came back from California, and my husband taught Drusilla the art of roasting coffee, and now Drusilla roasts all the delicious coffee for us. And so we're in the process of kind of phasing me out. My husband's retired from his day job now, and he's staying home and cooking and doing all the things that he likes to do.
Okay.
And the only thing he really does at the store now, Drew's kind of lightened David's burden, and so David can be free to do the things that he wants to do. And Drusilla kind of roasts coffee by day and then DJs by night.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So,
Very
we're in the process of kind of phasing me out and phasing Drusilla into the business.
And some people would say Beaver County is a small community, and don't always know how that is accepted. And has it affected your business at all?
No, I don't think so. I mean, maybe there are some people who stay away. I don't know. The coffee's still the same delicious coffee that we're serving. And if anything, I feel like it's kind of opened up a new market for us because Drew is active in the LGBTQ plus community. And we always talk about being all about love, respect, and accept. You know, I'm kind of a live and let live person. You know, what you do with your life is your business. You know, you want to come in and have coffee and conversation. We're glad to sell you coffee. We're glad to sell you tea. You know, you don't really have to get into the whole politics of it. But I have to say, it's been a struggle, and I'm proud of Drusilla for, you know, living her life and coming out and being open about this in front of people. This is going on every day in the public eye. And so, you know, it's been a challenge for her as well. But I feel like for the most part, people have been accepting, people have been respectful, people have embraced her. You know, people still come in and they're like, what happened to your son, Drew? And I'm like, well, my son, Drew, is now my daughter, Drusilla. So, you know.
That's good. And, you know, just like all families, you know, people come into your coffee place, Hallowed Grounds, and you don't care. You don't necessarily want them talking about religion and politics.
That's correct. We try to avoid that if we can.
Yeah.
It does come up, but we try to avoid it if we can because it can get heated.
I'm sure it does.
Yes.
I'm a talk host. I know it can. So tell me about the call to action. What are you looking forward for in the future?
So I just kind of want to invite your audience, if you haven't been into Hallowed Grounds, to stop in, smell the aroma that we've been talking about. Experience Hallowed Grounds for yourself. We're located just a couple of doors down from the hot dog shop, same side of the street. You'll see the bins of coffee, the burlap bags filled with green beans from all the different coffee countries, the flavored coffee in the jars, the loose tea leaves in the jars, and just come in and experience it. If you're not a coffee drinker, it's not a problem. We have tea, we have goodies, we have drinks in the refrigerator, teas and energy drinks, things like that. So I feel like we have something for everyone, and it's just a nice experience. It's like an old-fashioned country store when you come in, and you get that kind of a feel from it when
really
you come
is.
in.
Yeah, somebody's putting coffee on the stove, mixing the beans, grinding the beans, and it just smells like home.
Yes, yeah, and they can call us at 724-581-JAVA or 724-581-5282. You can click on hallowed-grounds.com. You can stop in the store and also follow us on Facebook, because we always have the coffees of the day and all of our specials and events that are going on posted on there.
Very good. Kathy, continued success for you and your family, and keep serving Beaver County and places outside of Beaver County delicious smelling and tasting coffees and teas.
Thanks a lot for having me on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Hallowed Grounds in New Brighton is where you'll find it's delicious tea. Kathy CHABALA is the owner, family business right here in Beaver County. I'm Mike Romine, and this is the Best of Beaver County on the St. Barnabas Radio Network.
Thank you for listening to the Best of Beaver County. St. Barnabas is pleased to have provided content and sponsorship for the program. Tune in this Sunday at 11:30 for an encore presentation of today's program on Beaver County Radio. And next Thursday at 11 for another edition of the Best of Beaver County on WBVP, WMBA, and 99.3 FM. Beaver County Radio's news source, 95.7 and 99.3 FM, along with 1230 WBVP, 1460 WMBA, and streaming at beavercountyradio.com. Here's Curtis Walsh.
Good morning on this Thursday, May the 2nd of 2024. We can expect a high of about 84 degrees today, and there's going to be sunshine all day long. We'll have a complete Beaver County radio weather forecast after we take this look at news. The Aliquippa City Council held a meeting last night, and it was announced that their fire chief will be retiring. Beaver County Radio News correspondent Sandy Giordano reports that Fire Chief Dave Foringer's last day of service will be July 2nd. They also announced that the 48th Greek Food Festival is going to be back and will be held on Thursday, June 13th through Saturday, June 15th in front of the Community Center on Davidson Street. The city is also currently interviewing candidates for a new city financial officer as Cheryl McFarland is retiring. Council meets next for a work session on May 29th, and their next regular meeting is on Wednesday, June 5th.